Hey, Sally and Jose, welcome to lesson 11.9 in consumer math. We're talking today about dividends, okay, dividends. I've talked about this before, but I want you to visualize the word and what it means, okay, and understand that there's two different kind of dividends that we talk about. Honestly, here, they're going to talk more about the cash dividend, or at least they're going to talk in terms of cash, no matter which one they're talking about, but it's good to understand both types. First of all, a dividend is a benefit of having stocks, okay? So remember that I told you there's two different stockholders, right? There's the preferred stockholder and the common stockholder, and they both have their advantages and disadvantages, okay? One has voting rights, the other one has rights to the dividends before the other one. So what are dividends? They are extra income, extra ganancia, extra money that they give you for owning stock, okay? So let's just read through the paragraph because it lays it out very well in the book, okay? So this is good text to go through what exactly a dividend is. Basically what happens is let's say that you own stock, no matter how many shares you have. Let's say that you have we talked about round lots here. So let's say you have 100 shares of a stock in a company. Let's say that it's in McDonald's, right? And McDonald's is gonna pay out a dividend per share of stock that year. They announced an annual dividend, which remember we said that stocks are a little bit more risky than bonds because bonds are required to give you interest. Stocks are not required to hand out a dividend, but most companies do to keep their stockholders happy. Okay, it's part of client service. So you have 100 shares in a stock, they announce their annual dividend per share, and you get money, you get rewarded for having the stock shares in that company, okay? So look what it says. Since a stockholder is part owner of the corporation in which he holds stock, when the corporation profits, the stockholder shares in the profit. So it's basically to be transparent with the people that, okay, it's true that you own part of the company, well then you should also get a reward when the company is doing well. The profits, which are distributed by the corporation, are called cash dividends. Cash dividends are usually paid quarterly. So they announce an annual dividend. Okay, so let's say that they announce that there's $20 per share. Dividends of $20 per share. So you have 100 shares, $20 times 100 would be your amount, right? $2,000. But they pay it quarterly, so you're not going to get $2,000 a seat. You're going to cut it into 4 and pay it out every quarter, okay? So that's what it says right here. The cash dividend may be a percent of the par value of the stock or an amount per share. Since the corporation usually declares an annual cash dividend but pays quarterly, each payment would be 1/4 the amount declared annually per share, okay? So look what happens. Look at the blue box. The following steps are used when a corporation issues a cash dividend. So this is what happens. One, the corporation board of directors declares a dividend, okay? Like I said before, not all corporations do that. But number 2, the preferred stockholders get theirs first, okay? So number 2, they set a dividend rate for the preferred stockholders. Number 3, they give it to the preferred stockholders. And then number 4, if there's money left over, okay, if they decide to give it all the way out to the common stockholders, which they don't have to do, then they're gonna pay out the common stockholders as well. Or if they don't want to do a cash dividend, they can do a stock dividend. That's what the next paragraph says. A stock dividend is free stocks. Okay, more shares of stock. Okay, they say instead of giving you money for every share of stock, every share that you have, they're going to give you more stock. So let's say that you have let's say you have 100 shares. Okay, you have 100 shares in the company at McDonald's, they declare a 10% stock dividend. That means that they look at your stock and you have 100 shares. 10% of 100 is 10. So now you would get 10 more shares. That's a 10% stock dividend. So now you would end up having 110 shares in their company, okay, because they made more shares available and gave them to their stockholders. Okay, that would be a stock dividend. So free stocks is what they're doing. Okay, so look at model problem number 1. Model problem number 1 says, Sidney Platt owns 150 shares of Terra Nitrogen stock. Terra Nitrogen declared an annual dividend of $4.30. So 150 shares, $4.30 per share is what they declared. So how much was Mr. Platt's annual dividend? So all you have to do is multiply that together. $645. Okay? But they pay quarterly, so if Terra Nitrogen paid quarterly, how much did Mr. Platt receive each quarter? So you just divide that by 4, and it says there in the book that you would get $161.25. Okay? That one's very basic, and then the other ones are too. The other ones are super logical. Okay, don't think that it's some process only for this page or anything like that. Look, it makes sense what they're telling you to do in the other model problems. Look at number 2. Edna Faircloth owns 86 shares of $100 par value stock. Okay, so I automatically, they don't do it exactly like this, but automatically I would do this. You have 100 shares. No, pardon, you have 86 shares, $100 par value for them. So you basically have $8,600 worth of shares in that company, right? The corporation just declared an 8.5% annual dividend. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this by 8.5%. And I'm going to get $731. So I'm going to receive $731 in the annual dividend, okay? But it's paid quarterly, so we have to divide by 4, and you're going to get $182.75. Okay, not exactly the order that they did it in the book, but it's logical what they did in the book, and it's logical how I did it, so I wanted to give you the other way that you could do it. Look at number 3. The Coop Corporation declared a $260,000 dividend to be paid to common stockholders. The corporation has issued 130,000 shares of common stock. Find the dividend per share. Okay, so they know that there's a bazillion people out there owning a total of 30,000 shares. They just said that they're going to set aside in their price to request for the year $260,000 in dividends. So how much are they paying for each share? Well, they have to divide it by how many shares they have out there sold. And you're going to end up paying $2 per share. Okay? And that's how they decide it in the company. Okay, this is how much money we're willing to give out in dividends. How much does that mean that each share is going to get? Okay, and then the one that has a few more steps, but if you listen to the logic, it's not going to be confusing. Look what it says. The ABN Corporation distributed $76,000 of their profits to shareholders. Okay, so they're going to use $76,000 of their profits in dividends, okay, to give out to dividends, when the other model problem just used 260, right? The corporation had issued 4,000 shares of preferred stock and 9,000 shares of common stock. Both preferred and common shares were $100 par value stock. The dividend rate for the preferred stock was 8%. Find the dividend per preferred share. Okay, find the dividend per preferred share. Okay, well, look what you have to do. It's an 8% stock. So you have $100 stocks out there, right? Every share is worth $100. You're going to pay 8% on every share. That's what they said, 8% on every share, right? That's what it says right there. The dividend rate for the preferred stock was 8%. So what are you going to do? You're going to take 8% of 100, which is $8. So every share is going to get an $8 dividend, okay? That is your dividend per preferred share. Look at B. The total amount left to be distributed to the common stockholders. Okay, well look, this is how much money they have. The preferred stockholders get their money first, right? It's $8 per share, and they have how many shares out there? 4,000. They have 4,000 preferred shares, so now that means that they are paying out $32,000 to these people. So you gotta go over here, and you gotta see how much is left to give out to common stockholders. Nice thing is you still have $44,000 that you can use to give out to the common stockholders. Okay, so then what's the dividend per share of the common stock? You're going to divide this by how many common stock shares you have, which is 9,000. And your answer is going to be $4.89. So no, you didn't get the $8 per share, but you did get something because the company wanted to include you in the dividend. Okay? So that is the logic behind paying out dividends in cash or in stock. Your answer to number 1 should be annual dividend is $288, then divide by 4 and get your quarterly dividend, which is $72. Number 5, your answer should be $11 for dividend per share, annual dividend of $550, quarterly dividend of $137.50. Number 7 should be $9.16. Number 10, the total preferred dividend should be $40,000, total common dividend should be $40,000, and the common dividend per share should be $4.44. If you have any questions, just let me know. Bye.